Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Book of Demons. My name is Wilfred. This episode I'd like to walk through with you some tips for the early level because I found that the early levels are probably the harder part of the game for the new players. Couple of reasons, because the character could be still quite weak, and also you're not familiar with the mob type and so on, and more importantly there are decisions to be made in terms of the what you should do, strategy and so on, how to upgrade yourself. I thought I'll share the tips with you so as to start you right, so you can enjoy the game as it progresses. Now this morning my wife and I woke up quite early, around maybe 6 o'clock, and we wanted to watch the sunrise from our apartment. So I set the dungeon to about half an hour or so that I could in time to watch the sunrise, and after that we just went back to sleep. So I play a game already. I've got some reward. I wanted to walk through with you what happened after the dungeon, after your adventure into the dungeon, when you have the loot and gold and so on. What are you going to do next? And then I'm going to play a little bit of the game so as to give you an idea of what to expect as well once you make some upgrade to your gear and so on. Alright, so now I enter town. There are a couple of options you could do here. After you have ventured into the dungeon, you may have some unidentified cards that you would like to identify. You may have some runes that you could use to upgrade your card. You could have some new card that you have looted that you want to incorporate into your build. Not only that, you may have other options, like you've collected something in your quadrant that you like to exchange for your prizes and so on. So there's quite a lot of things that will happen, and I'd like to walk through with you a little bit on what to expect, what would be the best strategy moving forward. So now, first thing first, gold is something that is rather a rare commodity at the early game because you have limited resource to do limited things. Everything you do, upgrade and so on, would involve gold. So need not to say you want to spend, but you want to spend wisely. Some cards, like I mentioned in my previous video, would have the is a consumable. So for example, this is a consumable whereby you can use ice arrow. 4 out of 4 uses left out of 4 means that it is full. You cannot top up this card anymore. Now you could have some other things like maybe a mana potion. Then if you swap into it, mana potion, is a 1 out of 4, means that you could still store up to 3 extra potion before the card becomes full. So that is just one option. There are many other options, and you could play the game and so on. You could use your gold to top up your card. So you can charge your card, for example, you can charge your card such a way that you can have more fire arrow or you can have more mana potion. Each one of them costs you 100 gold. I would advise not to do it unless you have a real need to. Perhaps maybe top up, if you have running out of health potion, maybe top up 1. The reason why is that you will find the potion when you go into the dungeon anyway, if your cards are not full. So I would say don't top up unless there's a real need to, and you could always use a town portal to go back home. Town portal is something like this one here, whereby you could go back to town and to refill your health and mana through the healer, as well as to top up the cards if you want to. But there's a cost to town portal as well. It's 1,000 gold. So perhaps it is cheaper to charge up all your card before you go there. So I don't use the town portal often in the early game. I use it in the late game when I run out of all the consumable in a large dungeon and I need to go back town and to top up the card and then go back in again if I need to. So that's one way to think about it. So that is one advice on the card charging. Another thing that is about the magical quadrant. Now, the quadrant works something like that, like I mentioned. Every time when you level, they ask you to make a decision. Would you like to put points in health or would you like to put points in mana? So, whatever decision you make, so you say, I want health, then the mana point will go into a quadrant. You don't lose it. Basically, every time you level, you get 1 health and 1 mana. But then which one would you want to have it first? That is a question that asks. I like to even things out, so I collect 1 mana, 1 health, 1 mana, 1 health, and the rest go into the quadrant. The quadrant can be retrieved, meaning that if I pay 500 gold, I could get my 3 life and 3 mana point out from it, and then it will improve my stats to it. And also, the prizes that I've collected would then turn into cards or anything that like gold or whatever. So now, the more prizes that you collect, it will be consolidated into a bigger prize. So for example, there's a gold prize there. If you collect more bronze, then the more bronze you have will go into silver. The silver prize will become gold. The wisdom is that you should collect as many prizes as you can without risking losing them all by dying. So if you are dead once in the dungeon, you lose all your prizes. So everything that you've collected will be gone. So you ask yourself, well, then why don't I just pay 500 gold to get all the prizes I've got? You could do that. The only thing is that every time when you use a quadrant, it get more expensive progressively, quite a lot more expensive. So if you use it very often, you may end up not being able to recuperate the gold spent versus the gold you can get from the prizes, plus the cards, of course. So some consideration there. Is it like a life and death decision? Not really. It depends on how confident you are by staying alive in a soft core mode and not to get defeated. So it's a lot of excitement there because you stand to lose all the prizes. Mana and life will not be lost, so don't worry about it. Even if you get defeated inside a dungeon, you lost all your prizes, your life and mana still remain. When you pay the price, you get all these points back to your thing here. So that's the advice on the quadrant. Now, the next advice I'd like to give is that, so you've got all the gold, you've got an identified card, you've got card upgrade, but what else can you do with the money? You could unlock the card slot. So every slot here can be unlocked. And the more slot that you unlock, the more card that you can put in. Now, this game doesn't have gear, by the way, but have something called cards. So, for example, this is like ability that you use. Now, cards working something like this way. I'll talk about card in just a bit, but let's just continue about the slot first. So, the more slot you have, the more card you can put in here. But it doesn't mean that you don't have enough slot, then you can't use the card. You can swap the card anytime during the battle. When you bring up this menu, the time will slow down. It doesn't stop, it slows down. So whatever damage you are receiving, you will not receive in real time, but it will be in a much slower time. You'll still get hit. So you have to make your decision fast, but you don't have to make it instantaneously. So you could potentially swap cards out while you are playing the game. Now, green colors are the passive. Passive cards are the one like the shield, like the arrow, whatever it is, that would consume the mana reserve. So it'll reserve a portion of mana if you use it. So for example, if I want to be more durable against the missile or projectile, which could be very harmful in this game, especially for early game, you could use it. And what happened is that out of 18 mana, I'm reserving 4 mana to as a passive. The rest of the 14 mana I can still use at my disposal for my blue card. So blue card are the one that, like for example, I could use the card for fear when I'm in a dungeon, or I can use it to use like a flaming leap if I want to leap across a different part of the map. So I could do that too. Those are the blue card. And red card, like I mentioned, is called consumable. So these are the one that you could use. You could charge in town, but you can use it in a dungeon, and you can loot consumable inside a dungeon as well. So now as I said, unlocking the card slot is good, but the more card slots you unlock, the more expensive it will become. So how many do you want to unlock, and how many should you have? Well, the answer is that it really depends on what is your level, because you could unlock everything that you have here, but you may not have the mana to sustain all the passive card that you want to put it here anyway. So there is a limit, as in like what you could have here because of the amount of mana that you have. But of course, the more card slot that you have, the more option that you have when you face the other bosses. So I'll go ahead and unlock one of them and see how it goes. The next one is 5,000. Now, before I go into 5,000, which I think I would, the next thing I would like to do is to identify my cards, because these are blue cards. Now, as you see here, my cards are white in color. So these are white tags to it. These are common cards. These are common cards. So shield, blah, blah, blah. And bow, blah, blah, blah. So all these are very much like just common cards. So think about cards like your gear. They have rarity to it. You have the common, which is white. You have the rare, which is the blue. You have the legendary, which is the purple. So as your card rarity goes up, it get more affixes, and the affixes are random as well. So you can have a set of cards that are the same type, like just healing potion, but each one of them could be different in some way. So you can pick, like within the blue cards, within the rare cards you may have other options. You want to have this type or that type rather than, or what. So even for legendary, the purple one will have different affixes to it. So there's no gear in this game, but everything become cards, and the card has rarity and there are different affixes to it, and you will eventually collect all the cards that you have here if you keep playing the game beyond the story mode. So that's one. And then sometimes they will add new cards into the game to make it like a new meta kind of thing. Alright, so now let me just go ahead and identify some of the cards that I have here.
Stay and listen for a while.
So let's see what we have here. It costs 1,000 gold to identify. Like I said, all these are not cheap. So let's identify this one. Blah blah. So now I have a rare version of the card that I have. So I have a white one. Let me just share with. Let me just take a look at this one here. So I have a white one here, which is additional arrow on hit 2, spawn arrow type is normal. Then I have this one here, additional arrow hit is 2, spawn arrow type is normal, but I have better chance to dodge the ghost, I have better chance to dodge the zombie, and I increase my health by 1. But I require level 8 to equip, and the cost of mana reservation is 5 mana instead of, well, it's the same 5 mana, right? So now that is one thing that I've looted. What about the other card? Let's see what I've got here. Oops, sorry. So let's identify this one, and this is like the consumable, which is very nice. This is the ice arrow that I use. The rest are all common, but the cooldown decreased by 10%, so you can fire a little bit faster. Chance for shockwaves on player on use. So when you use it, then you can have a shockwaves as well, additional AoE. So this is definitely better in a sense, and I could use it since level 4, so I could actually continue. Select this card. Select as well. Now the card itself, if I use it, it will have a different kind of like charge up rate to it. So if you charge a card, you have a cost to it. But the higher the tier of the card, the more expensive it becomes to say to top up. So now let's just go ahead and use that card because I can. My level allow me to do that. So I have 2 cards here. I can pick the magical one, which. So I'll have because I've already got 4 charges onto my card itself, so I'll convert all these 4 into gold, because that would be the cost I need to charge up the card, and then after that I'll need to charge this card itself, and to charge the card I'll need to say, for example, pay 150 instead of 100 to charge up the card. So I got 600 back, so because of 4 cards I used, maybe I just charge it like one time and I'll see, because I can pick up all these things while I'm in the dungeon anyway. So that's one option to it. Now another thing is about the upgrading the card, because you could upgrade some of these cards to make it more powerful. So for example, if I want to upgrade my card like the like the fear, because this is what I fear, right? So it required 2 of those moon rune. So the rune itself that you looted is used to upgrade a card. You could like pay 1,000 gold to upgrade a card, but I would not advise you upgrading a white card. I'll say save those probably for the blue card later. You could downgrade it as well, and you can get the runes back, but then you lose the gold to do that. So I would not advise you to do that unless there are cards that you definitely would want to use or need to use. Alright, so now it's almost there. I know it's a lot of tutorial-like because I like to explain things clearly so that you guys know what to do. The last thing I'd like to talk about is that there are many cards to it. So which one should you be bringing to a dungeon, and why should you do that? Now, over time you will develop your favorite build, meaning that there's some, something that you use that make you feel confident that you could conquer the dungeon. Now, of course, the dungeon type is important because depending on the mobs that you face, then you can pick the card that you want to go against them, and that comes with the knowledge. I'm not going to explain everything in one shot, but what I want to say is that you would like to expand your experience to all the cards, because later on, as the game's difficulties go up, they will mandate certain card for you to use, so that whatever build that you have thought you got it sorted and say that I'm going to use the same build every time I face a dungeon, it's not going to happen that way. They will force you into using a build that you are not comfortable with and may not even be the best, but it's a game that that asks you to do so as to spice things up a little bit. So yeah, that's the advice I've got. Now, I've still got some gold. Now, I could unlock another card slot. I'll go ahead and do that now because I want to have more options. It's important to me. So the next one is 10,000 gold. Obviously, I do not have that money, but that's fine. So now, what kind of card should I be bringing to the game right now? Okay, so let's see. Some of these I can swap out in real time, so I don't need to bring like a time portal or mana potion even. But what I could do is that I bring something that I would use. I find that flaming leap is very important because it allows me to leap to another place that I need to. I found that the health potion is very important as well. There's something called remedy. So for example, if you get poison and whatnot, you could free yourself from it. It is also useful. I could use it as well, but let me think on it because I could swap this in at the last moment. Now, there's something called a splitting arrow, splitting bow. So when I hit something, it will split up into multiple things. And there's something called the shield as well that help me to block better missile. So it depends on what kind of mobs I'm facing in a bit. But I think some of them maybe have projectile. We'll see how it goes. So I will need to have one of these things, and that will reserve a bit of my mana. Now the question is, how should I regenerate my mana? I can wait for the mana pool to appear, or I could use a mana potion, or I could use another active thing called Amulet of Mana that regenerate 1 mana every 5 seconds. It will mean that if I use any of this leap, meaning that I use like 2 of them, every 10 seconds I got to recuperate the mana back. Which could be important. But by doing so, I lost the opportunity to, say, use a shield, which is also very important. So that depends on what kind of dungeon that I'm going to face. Of course, the more slot I have, then I don't have to think about that because I could have brought in both. But let's see what kind of dungeon I have. Now I could, this is the first boss. I'm not going to go through the first boss in this video, probably the next one. But let me begin again. I cannot go beyond 24 minutes. Why? Because there's a limited amount of level before I hit the boss. It will not allow me to do so. Now I could do like dungeon that's just a 24 minutes. But since I've already taught a lot in this video, I think I better keep it to a little bit shorter so that you guys don't get bored and kind of like phase out on me. So let's do like a 10-minute dungeon, just like a 2 level rather than 3 level. It has a sufficient amount of mobs. Now it has something called the archer, so I'll definitely need to bring in something that will protect me from the projectile that hit me. Unfortunately, I probably need to do that. That give me a little bit lesser options. I'll have the skeleton circle will jump on me, and so like it's a new type of mob that's been added after the early access exit. But it's a mob that will jump onto me to do that melee damage. The right way to counter this one would be to use fear, but I may not have the luxury to do that. These are just skeleton. I'll have some monster that I have not met, so that's a little bit scary. Skeletomancer is like a necromancer of the skeleton, which is very scary. You have to interrupt the spell cast. Otherwise, they would keep spawning a lot of mobs for you to handle. Now, these are the green one are the poison ones, so I probably need remedy as well, because all these priests and so on also pretty scary. They would they would need their caster. They need to be interrupted. There is something called Hammer Gargoyle. This hits really hard, and Gargoyle would be immune to all elemental damage, so there's no point doing fire, ice, or whatnot to it. So that is just the way that it's going to be. In view of that, I'll probably do something a little bit different here. I will not use the ice arrow. Maybe I'll use a shield. I'll use the mana regen, so as to just slip around, just pure shooting. It will not be a high DPS, but it'll be a steady way to conquer the content. I have not met some of these monster yet, so I'll see what I'll have. Let's start with 10 minutes dungeons. Easy for you guys to digest. So now I have a chance to change my build, knowing that what kind of enemy that I'm going to face. Like I mentioned before, I probably don't use the ice arrow first and see how that goes. Then I'll need a shield for sure. I'll use a leap as the first button, and I'll use this one as a mana regen. So now I have a mana regen of this amount, so I can use it to leap around to make sure that I will survive. This is a very low DPS but very safe way to do it. You could, though, I mean, if you are taking a little bit of risk, you could take away the shield because it's just a chance to block. And then you can use something more like DPS, like the ice arrow. That could be one option as well, if that's what you want. Or you can say that after you encounter this kind of archer thingy, then you could switch to a shield, because switch out the shield, because they don't need that to happen. But let's just start with that, because I see archer here a little bit worried. They are not easy targets. So dungeons are randomly generated, and first thing first, use a cap lock. Cap lock is to show the items on the ground. You want a clean sweep, and that is for the best kind of result. Alright. So, I see what I mean? These are hammer. Oop, I clicked the wrong button. Oh, I didn't know that it go that far. I keep clicking the wrong button. So I've used up like okay, I level up at the right time. Yay! Now this, okay, there are a couple of things I'd like to talk about here. Quick one. Now it seems that I don't need to worry about the shield anymore. Let's take away the shield. Let's do the ice arrow. Okay, so now this has a shield to it, so I have to remove the shield. No, it doesn't actually. Yeah, don't let them come near to you. I keep clicking the wrong button. This is really bad. So I need to because I'm so used to leaping on the second one. So let's do it that way. Now this mod has an anger management to it. You cannot hit it too high. You have to moderate your DPS. And it hides at the shadow here. Let's get out. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't the most prettiest kind of fight, but they kind of like it works. So I have no more health potion, huh? This is a little bit scary. Now, what I could do is that at a time like this, if you play hardcore, of course, you can go back to town. You can always go back to town anytime, and then there's a healer there as well. So, for example, you can come to town here and have the healer. You could also charge up your card since you are here. Maybe I charge up this guy because I accidentally clicked the wrong button a few times. But you can always go back here again since you've started doing that. So now I'm a little bit more confident. Now what I can demonstrate to you though is that here's you have a closed kind of like environment. You are rangers. So what you could do is that instead of leaping, you could do a fear instead. I think that would be more useful. So fear works something like that. So fear will then keep things away from you. And then once you are knocked, you get like this hits really hard. Okay, so now fear doesn't seem to work too well. So because the mob can't be feared, so I have to use like a leap instead. Whoa, another one. Tough. It's not easy. Now this is the shield that you have to break it manually. And this is the one that you could interrupt as well. You could have done it, but I didn't. Now this is the one that you could like break the shield in order to damage him. So far not doing too well. A little bit of concentration. Ooh, health potion, yay. Well, that leaping thing is actually hard to do. I have to get it right. I'm still trying to get used to the leaping thing. The gargoyle, if you leave it to himself, he would actually heal, so you try not to do it. So like I say, this one has a little bit of anger management to it. Dodge a bullet a little bit. Yeah. Done. Okay, done. So now let's evaluate where things are, because I don't think this build is doing too well. I'm actually quite new to this build as well. It's ice kind of thing. So let's do it this way. I don't think I want to have the leap. I think I want to have the... Okay, the fear, the ice arrow is good. So I'll have the... maybe I'll do a fear instead. There's quite a lot of melee here that I need to counter. So dodge thing a little bit. So that's fear. Something got fear. Try to dodge a bullet a little bit. So sometimes you just have to eat it. So that's a health thing. It's good. My health is all full. Whoa, what a fight, man. Okay, so none of them is it's going to be... It's all kind of hard, getting a little bit challenging. This game is not easy, to be honest, if you want to stay alive. So this guy, you need to anger manage him. This shield, you need to break it yourself. Freeze him in place, is good. So I'll stay with the ice arrow, alright? So it's a rather big dungeon. Well, freeze him in place is one way to keep him cool, I guess. Okay, done. I have to moderate your DPS a little bit. Now this is the one that you can interrupt. So just now I interrupted the. Sometimes I just have to eat some of these things. There's no other way. I should have gone this way. It's a really long traveling kind of like a distance, but yep, managed to survive for another day. 9 more arrows. You could, well, you could eat it if you want. It's not homing. Or you could say like, well, since I need to come here anyway, may as well. So yep, this side is all cleared. Oh man, I didn't know they were so hard. You know what I'll do? I don't think I need the amulet there. That's not something that I need. If I run out of mana, I'll deal with it. Okay, top up my Alright. Break the shield and then well, another thing that I could do though, since I'm dealing with all this weird stuff, what I could do is that I could because there's a lot of like a projectile against me, so I could change the thing a little bit here, so as to block it if I can, or just dodge it if I can. Sometimes you could dodge it, sometimes you cannot, so it depends on. Okay, so this is a new card. What does the card do? Deal damage to monster entering melee range. Wow, that's interesting. You could, oh, this is nice. So I could actually use this guy here. If they come into melee range, which sometimes they do, right? To help me with all these things. So why don't I do that instead? It's a lot of experimental here. I'm inclined to try it out. Let me try it out. Now these are melee damage, by the way. Okay, that didn't work out too well. But I have to try, otherwise I wouldn't have known. So that's done. So that's all done. Now I could go into the next level, or what I could do is that because I know that there's a health fountain somewhere that you can use, or you can go back to town if you want to. So that's one way to. I didn't know it was so far away. Yep. So this is one that you can fill up yourself and then go to the next level. All right. A little bit of experiment here. So this guy here, these are like the archer thingy. So I don't really like the splitting arrows. It doesn't seem to do much, to be honest. So I would like to forget about this thing. I'll just do the shield here. I think the shield is more important to me than the arrow itself. All right. So so let's do it. Let's face it. Now I need to interrupt this guy, but I can't. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Whoa. This is bad. This is super bad. This is super bad. I'm not kidding you. Whoa. Wow, I survived. Oh man, that was hard. That was really hard. Man, I at this level, right, the options are so limited because the cards are not really that reliable, like this type here. The percentage is not really that good. You can upgrade a card to become better, of course, but you don't really have that much resource to do all these things. So that is why it get really difficult initially when you play this game. But you know what I'll do? Let me just try the fire arrow. It could give me a better result somehow. All right, let me do that. And yeah, all right. So let me do a fire arrow and see how the thing goes. And yeah. Now interrupt is here. You hold this thing to interrupt. Okay, I fire off. Whoa. Whoa. This is like, how many bosses are there? Oh my goodness, this is like, I'm so not going to make it. Our mana, no problem. Hot shot. Oh my goodness. Archer. I'm gonna just deal with you guys. 2 bosses. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I can make it. Hang on a second. I can make it. But the problem now is that I need fear. Oh my goodness. So this is so exciting. You wouldn't have known, huh? So let's see, since I have no potion anyway, or I can go back to town and get a potion. Get potion refill, but I want to just leave it to the max here, huh? Why not? So I've got fear. Oh man, this is so exciting. So I'm just going to use a fear. Oh my goodness, I could do it. Oh goodness me, that was so hard. This is super hard. Okay, by the way, the fire arrow is very good for this kind of mob. I can fear them. I can fear them. Okay, it's 2 bosses down. Oh, I got stunned. Whoa, and I level up at the right places. Oh my goodness, that was hard. Now the fire, you can damage yourself as well, so be careful when you walk on it. But I think this build is alright. Just now I swapped the right card at the right moment. Fear was good because it was all tight corners. Alright, done. Die. Stay down! Okay, a lot of fire arrow that I've got. No use to have fire against a gargoyle. Fear. No, this guy cannot be fear. Alright, explosion. Yeah, well, take that, mate. So now I need to go there to collect whatever I need. Now, I tell you what I'll do. This is what I'll do. I'll just like top up my health here first. And and there you go. I'm just gonna destroy them. Yep. So I managed to dodge some of these things. Well, I mean, I could spend. I mean, you guys don't have to do what I do. It's not really like the best way to do things. I mean, you know, you could use some of your gold to go back to town, refill your consumable, get more health potion. I mean, you don't have to do what I'm doing here. What I'm doing could be a little bit crazy for you, some of you guys, but you know, I want to practice for hardcore mode so that I could do a roguelite, stay undefeated kind of thing. But yeah. Alright, so I dodged the gargoyle a little bit. The hammer gargoyle hit really hard. It has a chance to stun you, then you can see all the stars coming up, you have to catch a star and so on. So I think, yep, so I think my my build is getting kind of like getting there. Now, these are all level cleared, so I could, oh my goodness me. So I could like put in pawns to level up here. Some are mana, some are, so I just take one each. Alright, so easy to go. So now I've completed clean sweep of everything. This is mission accomplished at the least amount of cost. So I've got a Heart of Iron, didn't die once. I sweep all the levels clean as well as kill every last one of them. So yeah, this is what you would like to achieve as your result. So now I've got more things to visit and so on. So I've got the I don't really have a lot of cards that I could identify. So my build is more or less like similar to what I have. Now I could use the rune that I have there to upgrade one of the card that I find it useful, because I'm first time playing Rogue here. I'm not really that
I can see your future is very grim.
I'm not that good at Rogue right now, but I think I'll get better at it now that I know a little bit more about how to do this one. So you could fuse cards as well. You can fuse two of these into this guy here, and this guy here can use to upgrade the shield here. So if you upgrade the shield, it has a 50% to block the missile, which is not bad at all. So it could be money well worth to upgrade the shield, because I found that the projectile is something kind of hit me quite badly. So let me just do it one time for you guys so that you kind of know what I'm talking about here. So I can fuse the two cards into a death rune, and then the death rune can be used to upgrade the card here. Right? So once you upgrade, of course, it will cost more mana to sustain. So you don't want to upgrade too much. Not that you have a lot of upgrade opportunity anyway. So now my card become a level 2, I think, and you can continue to upgrade this guy with more runes, but it costs go up here. Or you can choose a downgrade as well to retrieve the runes back. That is one way to do it. Or you can break the rune into a smaller one, I think. But yeah, so now then my shield become a little bit more powerful. It blocked 50% of the chance, which at the highest percentage is 70% of chance. Of course, is the best one that you could have. But now I hope that you guys find this video useful. I really think that
kids, we used to sneak into the cathedral and bother the monks in the scriptorium. Poor guys were completely helpless and couldn't even yell at us until they chased us outside. Those were happier times. But now, with all the evil creatures down there. Remember the smith? People think he left because of the fortune teller. But I know the true story. You see, a monster snatched his wife and son and dragged them into the dungeons. He followed them and found a terrible place. A kitchen where demons cook human flesh for their master. Can you imagine seeing your loved ones prepared into a stew? Or even worse, black pudding? He managed to come back and tell us all about it. But his mind was unhinged by grief. The next night, he vanished for good.
Yeah, so there are 3 messages coming out from here. So the first one is that, if you play Diablo, you remember there's a blacksmith whereby you will help I think Hindrick, right? I can't remember his name. His wife turned into a zombie or whatever. So it's similar to the Diablo story. It's just paying tribute to it. That's number 1. Number 2 is that introducing you to a next boss, which is the butcher or the cook, they call it in this game. So that's the second one. The third one is kind of interesting as well, because this game has no gear. Now if you listen to Fortune Teller, they already told you that blacksmith is like the old day. Now we are talking about magic and cards, and that's why this game is all about cards. So this explains why this game doesn't have gear, because the blacksmith has vanished, so there's no gear. But incoming is the fortune teller, which gives you the cards and the magic. A little bit of background. I mean, all these things doesn't really affect the game, affect the way that you play a game. But I thought it'd be interesting for you to know a little bit of how this game is being kind of developed from a story point of view, and the tribute they pay to Diablo game. And now I've got even more prizes, so I could continue. Oh, I tell you what I'll do. I'll collect all these prizes, because the next one I'm going to do a boss, right? So or maybe not. So I maybe the next video I do, before I face a boss, I would collect all the prizes for you guys, and you'll see what kind of things inside. And then I'll try my best to defeat the boss without getting defeated. And we'll see how it goes. Alright, so thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any question, feel free to drop me a line there in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer you. I love this game a lot, as you can see. I'm very passionate about this game. So I'll see you next time. Goodbye.